Hi there, YouTube. My name is Emma. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another yoga class. Today I am in what's usually sunny Phoenix, Arizona, but we are actually having a much needed cloudy day, so it's a little overcast, so I figured there shouldn't be too much backlighting. I just love the view of this garage door. We do open it up sometimes. This is a studio I teach at in the Phoenix area, so I will put the studio's info below if you're ever visiting town and you want to come check out a class. It's really awesome. It's called Sweatshop on Central. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into things, and we're going to get started today's class in child's pose at the back of your mat. There might be people walking around outside. However, you might be able to see some like moving figures, but it is a frosted door, so you shouldn't be too distracted. Do your best to keep your attention within the four corners of your mat. Let's start right here, right now, with a deep breath in and a long exhale. Do that again. Take a deep breath in and a nice long exhale. One more for good measure. Walk your fingers a little more forward and then off to the right. Lengthen the sides, especially your left side. I even like to bring the right hand down by the knee, a little push in the right hand, almost like you're twisting to the right. Walk your hands to the left. Keep that breath moving all the way into the bottom of your lungs. Walk your hands back through center. Come up to a tabletop position. Start to walk your hands, kind of lift one hand a little bit and then the other. As you do this, you'll start to turn your fingers towards the outside edges of your mat, or you'll turn your fingers all the way back towards your knees for a nice wrist stretch. You can rock forwards, backwards, side to side, draw some circles, whatever you like to do. Be gentle. Your body is just waking up. Turn your fingertips forward. Inhale, breath, arch your back. Exhale, breath, round your spine. Inhale, breath, arch your back. Sternum forward, look up. Exhale, round. 3 more cat-cows, really dramatic breath. If you practice Ujjayi breath, this is a wonderful time to turn it on, seal your lips, constrict the back of your throat. Otherwise, breathe in your nose, out your mouth, and just make your breath even. Neutral spine. Extend your right leg back behind you. Roll out your ankle, wiggle your toes. Stretch your left arm forward. Take a breath in. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Bend your right knee, sweep your left arm back, tap your toes, don't grab your foot. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch, elbow knee. Inhale, extend. Go back, just tap your right toes with your left hand. One more, inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. This time, go back. Maybe grab your foot if it's accessible. Plug your right shoulder back. Pull your sternum forward. Imagine someone pushing the outside of your hips in towards each other. Gently release your left hand to the mat. Drop your right knee behind your left knee. You can kick your feet a little away from each other as you push your butt back, kind of like a cow face pose. I even like that left knee to lift up off the mat. Drop your head, relax your neck. This should feel pretty good. If it doesn't, please adjust the pose so you feel a stretch in your outer hips. Bring your hips or shoulders forward over your wrists. Extend your right leg behind you with the toes tucked so your leg is straight. Open up to the right in a modified side plank. Push your hips towards the long edge of your mat. Reach your right arm overhead. Roll out your right wrist. Lift your right leg up and either stay there or bend your knee, grab your foot, and kick back. Push your spine in behind your heart. Gaze down easier, gaze up harder for 3, 2, 1. Extend your right leg. Let's go right shin on the mat like you're going to tabletop. Dive your right arm all the way through. Thread the needle pose. Once you get down, walk your left hand forward. Bump your hips a little to the right. Press the tops of your ankles down. Breathe behind your right shoulder into your upper back. Keep your left arm forward. Lift your forehead. Unthread your right arm so you're in a puppy pose. Forehead on the mat. You could always use a block. Press the tops of your feet, the inside tops of the feet. So kind of on top of the big toe down. Feel your inner thighs push back. Slide forward onto your belly, Sphinx pose, shoulders over elbows. Pull your shoulders back, sternum forward, squeeze your legs. Bring your right ear towards your right shoulder and then slowly dropping your chin towards your chest as you bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Go side to side a few times. Pausing wherever it feels good, wherever you need that little extra stretch. Meet with your head back in center. Tuck your toes, squeeze your legs, feel your kneecaps lift. Lift your hips up and you're in a forearm plank. Feel free to adjust your forearms, but you're not clasping your hands, your forearms are parallel. Tuck your tailbone, feel your hip points pull forward. Look down kind of between your wrists so your neck, your spine is neutral for 3. Tone your belly, 2. Walk your feet a little bit forward like you're going to dolphin pose. Instead of trying to get the hips over the shoulders, think about pushing the hips back and sinking the heels towards the mat. Feel that nice stretch in your calf muscles. So you're almost like using your forearms to slide the mat forward. Drop your knees. And then come back onto your hands into a tabletop position. Extend your left leg back, roll out your ankle. Feel your outer left hip drop. Try to keep your hips square to the mat. Extend your right arm forward. Inhale. Exhale, crunch, elbow, knee. Inhale, extend. Go back, right hand, tap your left toes. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Reach. Tap your toes. One more, inhale. Elbow, knee. Extend. This time, right hand reach back, maybe grab your foot. Outer hip squeezing in. Feel your sternum go forward. Chin parallel with the mat for 3. 2. Without slingshotting it, release your right hand to the mat. Drop your left knee behind your right knee and kick your feet a little away from each other as you push your butt back. Maybe the right knee pops up off the mat, kind of like Gomukhasana legs. One more breath. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. Extend your left leg back, toes down. Open up to your left, modified side plank. Push your hips towards the left side of your mat. Reach your left arm up and over. Roll out your wrist. Lift your left leg up. up and either stay there or bend your knee, grab your foot, and kick back. It's easy to just flare the ribs out here. Yes, you want to make it a back bend, but still try to tuck the ribs or pull the rib cage together. Tone your belly. 3, 2, 1. Release your left foot. Roll back onto your shins like you're going to tabletop, and then dive your left arm underneath, thread the needle pose. Once you get there, you can walk your right hand forward. Feel a little push down tops of the ankles. Soften your left palm, forearm, and the left side of your face. Your right arm, keep it forward, lift your forehead and unthread your left arm. Puppy pose. This time, if you'd like, you might bring your chin to the mat or grab the front of the mat and imagine pulling it forward. Inner thighs pushing back, pull your belly button up towards your tailbone. Feel your outer hips lift as you arch your back a little bit. Slide forward onto your belly. Bind your hands behind your back. Imagine gluing your toenails to the mat. Lift just your upper body. Pull your chin towards your throat. Lift your hands away from your tailbone. Wiggle your ribs a little bit forward. Switch so the opposite thumb is on top. Walk your feet nice and close to each other. Try to get the big toes and the heels to touch. Then lift your legs up. Keep squeezing your legs together. Keep your gaze down. Work your knuckles back for 3, 2, 1. Release your hands. Plant your hands under your shoulders and roll yourself up to a cobra pose. Feel free to move around a little bit. Look to the right, look to the left. And then we'll take it back to downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Feel free to pedal your legs, shake your head. Any movement that feels really nice here, go for it. If you're just starting your day, it's morning time, you might feel a little sticky, tight. Try not to judge that. Just move in a way that feels good. If you're further along in your day, you might feel you have more space. So try to take advantage of that. Find some stillness. And find some activation. Squeeze your thigh muscles, push your thigh bones back. Feel space between the shoulders. Lift your heels. Each step gets a little wider, really short steps towards the front of your mat. Once you get there, you can allow your arms to hang heavy or maybe clasp your hands behind your head today. Think about bringing the elbows towards each other, so kind of your forearms hugging your temples. This just helps to add a little extra pressure and get an extra stretch in your upper back and cervical spine. Little sway side to side. Start to feel space between your shoulder blades. Switch which thumb is on top. Release your hands to the mat. Very slowly, with a generous bend in your knees, start to ragdoll yourself up towards standing. Roll your shoulders out when you get there. Feel strong through your legs. Feel a gentle lift from the crown of your head. Inhale, reach both arms up. Grab opposite elbows and lean over to the right. Inhale, back up center. Release your arms, switch your grip, and lean over to the left. Pull your bottom ribs in. Inhale, back up center. Release your hands and place them at your low back. Move your tailbone down. Lift your sternum and then lean back. You can keep pushing your hips forward, or you could choose to walk your hands down the backs of your legs. Keep pushing your hips forward. Get light in your toes. Inhale, pull yourself back up. Exhale, bend your knees, fold forward, maybe grab onto your ankles. Lift up halfway. And hands on the mat, step your right foot back, followed by your left foot. On your next exhale, chaturanga, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, toes tuck, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Feet hip width, a little bend in the knees, great. Heels sinking. And pivot it a little bit out so you can't see them behind your ankles. Push your thigh bones back. Squeeze your quadriceps. Notice if you're dumping into your low back and really arching your back, try to pull your bottom ribs in. Broaden between your shoulder blades, your lats. Move your breath all the way to the bottom of your lungs. And all the way out. Lift your heels, look forward, step right foot, then left foot to the front, halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise, reach up. Exhale, let's go right back down, forward fold. Halfway lift. Hands down, left foot, right foot, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just one breath here. Lift your heels, look forward, step, left foot, right foot, halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise, squeeze your middle, maybe lean back a little bit. Exhale, right back down. Halfway lift. Hands down, step back or jump back. If you're stepping back, alternate your feet, chaturanga. Inhale, upward. Exhale, downward dog. Just one breath, building heat in your body. Heels up, look forward, step or jump, halfway lift. Fold. Rise, reach, look up. Light toes, exhale, back down, empty your lungs. Halfway lift, hands down, step or jump back, Vinyasa. Hold, downward facing dog. Move your breath. It's normal to feel heated, maybe overheated. It's normal for your breath to become a little bit more shallow or choppy. Use this as an opportunity to come back. Lift your right leg up, bend your knee, stack your hips and move your right leg around. Try to isolate the movement in the right leg so you're squeezing your left leg and not really allowing movement in the left side, the shoulder or the left waist. Pause with your hips stacked, right knee bent. Spin your left heel in just a tad. And then prop up onto your left fingertips. This might be enough for you today. If you'd like to try something a little more challenging, look forward towards your right thumb. Maybe see if you can float your left hand off the mat. Maybe your left hand can reach back and tap or even grab your right foot. This is very challenging. 3. Even just lifting your hand is pretty challenging. 2. 1, hands on the mat, step your right foot forward. Feel free to grab blocks. Straighten into your right leg. Your foot can be flexed or flat. I like foot flat on the mat, pushing the ball of the foot down. Come up really high on your left toes. Try to square your hips. If you have the space, you might even walk your hands a little bit forward and lengthen more through the sides of your body. Keep pulling your right hip crease back. Bend your right knee, drop your left knee, and reach both arms up, Anjaneyasana, B. Let's bring the palms to touch and look up. If that's too much on your shoulders, keep your hands separated. Melt your hips forward, but grip less with your right toes. Think about driving the heel down and pushing through the ball of the foot. Look up for 3, 2, and 1. Hands on the mat. Let's step back to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up, bend your knee, stack your hips, move your left leg around. Again, isolating the movement so you're not dumping into the right shoulder or the right side of the waist, and the right leg isn't wiggling all around. Pause with your left knee bent, hips stacked. I like to spin the right heel in just a tad, prop up onto the right fingertips. If you'd like to try, look at your left thumb. At least for me, that's pretty helpful. Maybe try to float your right hand off of the mat, or even reach back to tap or grab your foot. Try to go slow. If you go fast, you'll feel pretty wobbly. Squeeze your right leg, your thigh muscle to protect your knee for 3, 2. Both hands on the mat, step your left foot forward. Feel free to grab those blocks again. Let's straighten into the left leg. Think about magnets on your inner thighs. They're trying to pull towards each other. If you have the space again, you might walk your hands forward. Try to lengthen the sides of your waist. So that includes pulling that left hip back. You don't want to feel a crunching sensation in the left side. Relax your jaw. Drop your back knee, Anjaneyasana B. Top of your right ankle and foot push down. That helps you feel stable. Left heel heavy. Palms touch, but relax your inner shoulders. Try to look up. That can test your balance, so think about pulling your rib cage together, helping engage your core. 3, 2, 1. Hands on the mat, step back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in, exhale. Lift your heels, look forward, step or jump to the front of your mat, lift up halfway, fold forward. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, sit your butt back and reach your arms up. Soften your shoulders. Again, maybe palms touch, look up. That can be a lot on your shoulders, so again, if it is, just separate your hands, but try to look up. Remove some of the arc from your low back, tuck your ribs in, sit low for 3, 2, 1, forward fold. Let's separate those feet about the width of your hips. Grab onto your big toes, lengthen on your inhale, bend your knees a bit and fold. Padangusthasana, elbows out and a little back. Spread your shoulder blades. Always feel free to bend your knees, roll your weight forward. Last 2. And 1. Halfway lift, slide your hands under your feet, toes close to your wrists. If that doesn't work out, grab your ankles from the front. Lengthen, inhale, fold, exhale. The more you squeeze the front of your body, the more you lengthen the backside, just like the opposite of a back bend. You got to engage the front, find that action to get the stretch. One more breath. Release your hands. Maybe hands in front of the feet, like they're on railroad tracks. Bend your elbows, lift your heels, and bend your knees. Drive your knees as high as you can to your armpits. If you'd like to try Bakasana, crow pose, grip with your finger pads, look forward. Try to bring your feet to touch to engage your inner thighs. Keep breathing. Bakasana or no Bakasana, and just hold plank for 3, 2. Step or jump your feet back, Chaturanga. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Take a breath in and exhale. Lift your right leg up. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Wiggle it a little right and come up to a high lunge crescent warrior. Cactus your arms and bend your left knee. Pull your bottom ribs up, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Your back knee's not touching the mat, it's like a double lunge. Straighten your legs, reach your arms up. Feel your inner thighs squeeze towards each other. Keep your hips square to the front of your mat. Pivot to the left. Bend your left knee and push your butt back. All 10 toes are pointing to the long edge of your mat. Place your right hand down, reach your left arm up. So you're in a side lunge twist. Feel that nice stretch on your inner right thigh. Press into your feet, rise, star pose, palms touch overhead. Exhale to the back of your mat, warrior two. Push your knees away from each other and soften your shoulders. Flip your left palm, reverse warrior, reach up. Exhale, windmill to the back of your mat and twist. Right hand down, roll onto your right toes. Reach your left arm up. Wiggle your left foot a little to the left. And then we're gonna come up and do that on the other side. Inhale, come up to a high lunge, crescent warrior. Exhale, bend your back knee, cactus your arms like a double lunge. You wanna feel your hips pull up and your ribs pull down, engaging your core. Straighten your legs, reach your arms up. Might feel a little wobbly, squeeze. Turn to your right, bend your right knee, push your butt back. Left hand on the mat, right arm reach up. Make sure all 10 toes are still pointing to the long edge of the mat. You're just getting a stretch on your inner left thigh. Press into your feet, rise, star pose, look up. To the front of your mat, warrior two, turn your right toes out. Get your feet set up and then reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill into that twist. Left hand on the mat. Wiggle your right foot out a little bit. And we'll go again. Inhale, high lunge with your breath. Exhale, cactus arms, bend your back knee. Straight legs, reach up. Pivot to the left, side lunge twist. Left arm, reach up. Star pose, inhale. Warrior two to the back, exhale. Breath in, reverse. Breath out, twist at the back. Breath in, high lunge, arms up. Breath out, cactus, bend back knee. Straight legs, reach up. Pivot to the right, side lunge, twist. Straight legs, star pose. To the front, warrior two. Reverse. And windmill down twist. We'll go one more time. Inhale, high lunge, reach up. Exhale, cactus and bend your back knee. Reach up, inhale. Pivot, side lunge, twist, exhale. Right hand on the mat. Star pose, look up. To the back, warrior two. Reverse warrior. And windmill down twist. Come up, high lunge, crescent warrior. Cactus arms, bend your back knee. Reach up, straight legs. Pivot to the right, side lunge, twist. Left hand on the mat. Straight legs, rise. To the front, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, windmill down for the twist. Place your right hand on the mat and step back, chaturanga. Once you get to down dog, I'll actually have you drop down to your forearms into a dolphin pose. Walk your feet towards your elbows. Try to get your hips over your shoulders. Push down into your forearms enough so there's space for your head to hang. Your head should not touch the mat. If you'd like to practice lifting one leg and holding it up. And then the other leg and holding that up. Walk your feet back, forearm plank. Drop your hips to the mat and you're onto your belly. Now in the beginning, we did a bound locust pose with our hands behind our back. You can do that again if you don't want to do floor bow with us. Otherwise, down your asana, bend your knees, reach your hands back for your feet or ankles. Squeeze an imaginary yoga block between your knees. Start to kick back and up. Now you can point or flex your feet. I like to flex the feet because it feels a little stronger to me. You can gaze down, forward, or up, wherever it feels best on your neck. I really prefer forward. Feel the most neutral spine, neutral neck here for 3, 2, 1. Release your feet. Slide your hands under your shoulders and roll yourself up, cobra pose, to downward facing dog. Take a nice full breath in and exhale. Lift your right leg up behind you. Step your right foot forward. Wiggle it a little right and come up to a high lunge crescent warrior. Your back leg will stay straight or straight-ish. Cactus your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Start to shift your weight into your right leg, hug your left heel up towards your butt. Squeeze your left hamstring, and then take your left hand and reach back for your foot. Kick into your left hand, dancer pose. If your right arm is extending, just be sure to plug your right shoulder back so you keep your shoulders and your hips square. Push the ball of your right foot down, drop your left hip for 3, 2, slow as you can, hands to mat or hands to blocks. Left leg lifting up, squeeze your belly. Standing splits. Step your left foot behind your right foot so your ankles are crossed. Walk your hands over to the right. Walk your hands back through center. Take a step back with your left foot. Spin your heel down so your feet are set up like warrior 1. Then walk your hands 45 degrees to the left. Off of your mat likely. I call this a down dog lunge. Your feet are in a warrior 1, your upper body's in down dog. Actively push into your hands, hollow out your armpits. Your right knee is tracking in the direction of your right toes. Firm up your left thigh. Skandasana at the back of your mat. Shift your weight into your left leg and flex your right toes. If you need to pop your left heel off the mat, go for it. Focus more on the external rotation of this right thigh. If you'd like, you might like to open your arms here. You could half wrap your right arm behind your back and even make a bind, grabbing your right wrist for 3, 2, and 1. If you're bound, release that. Flip around to the back of your mat. Right hand down, roll to the outer edge of your right foot. We'll slowly as possible start to lift that left leg up and over into a wild thing. It's basically a side plank on the right with a back bend. Make sure your right shoulder is stacked over your wrist. That will help protect your shoulder joint. Slow as you can, flip it around to a side plank on the left. So left hand on the mat. You can stagger or stack your feet. Staggered will be a little easier. Push your hips up. Always the option for the forearm if this is too much. Lift your right leg up. Bend your right knee. Hug your knee towards your right armpit. Soft step forward so you're in a runner's lunge. Right foot forward facing the back of your mat. Shorten your stance, pyramid pose. You might take a moment to grab a block or 2. Pyramid pose facing the back of your mat with your right leg forward. Try to lengthen the sides of your waist once again. Left hand, mat or block, revolved triangle. Line your fingertips up with your toe tips, not in front, not behind, and then reach your right arm up. Keep some weight in your back leg, that's your anchor. Pull your right hip crease back. 3. If it feels okay on your neck, look up at your right thumb. 2. 1, grab your block if you've got it, bump it forward. I like tall height, revolve, half moon. Basically a warrior 3 with a twist. Push the ball of your right foot down. You can stay in revolve half moon or bend your left knee. Your right hand will reach back for your left foot, revolve full moon, or come up off your left hand for revolve dancer pose. Balancing on your right foot. Little twist to the right for 3, 2, slow as you can, hands on the mat. Drop your left knee behind your right ankle and take a seat. Ardha Matsyendrasana. Your right leg is on top and your left knee is on the bottom. If this is too much, extend your bottom leg straight, but keep your right leg on top. We'll be twisting to the right. Keep your sitting bones heavy and push through the ball of your right foot. Try to look over your right shoulder for 3, 2, 1. Take a counter stretch to the left. Dip your hands off the left side of your mat and do a little push-up. Push yourself back up. We're going Gomukhasana, cow face. You're already halfway there. Stack your right knee on top of your left knee. Again, if you want the modified version, your bottom leg, your left leg is extended straight. I like to just grab the feet and sit up. If you'd like, you could take eagle arms. You could bind your hands behind your back. I like to keep the feet flat. Otherwise, my feet like to move forward because my hips are tight, and that makes it easier. So I like to kind of pull the feet back, keep them where they are for 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to roll forward onto my knees, plant my hands in the front, tuck my toes, either step or jump and uncross my feet as I jump back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. I'm now facing the back of my mat in downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up behind you. Step your left foot forward towards your thumb. Wiggle it a little left and come up to a high lunge crescent warrior. Keep your back leg straighter. Cactus your arms so you feel a back bend in your upper back. Shift your weight into your left leg, hug your right heel towards your butt. Squeeze your hamstring, then reach your right hand back for your foot. Kick a bit and start to hinge. Maybe that left arm reaches forward, Natarandasana, dancer pose. Feel your right hip drop, try to stay square. Plug your left shoulder back, 3, 2, 1. Slow hands to the mat, standing splits, fold over your left leg. Step your right foot behind your left foot, crisscross it. Walk your hands to the left. Pull your right hip crease back. Walk your hands back through center. Right foot step back and spin your heel down. Walk your hands 45 degrees to your right. Drop your head and look at your right heel. Keep the left knee bending in the direction of the toes. Walk your hands, Skandasana at the front of the mat. Bend your right knee. Focus on the external rotation of your left thigh. That's the priority of the pose. Right heel on or off the mat comes second. If you've got that all going for you, you could open up your arms, blocking your right shin, half wrap and bind. You have a tendency to dump forward here. Try to open your chest, turn to the left for 3, 2, and 1. If you're bound, release that and pivot around to the front of your mat. Left hand down, start to roll to the outside edge of your left foot. As slow and controlled as possible, we'll step that right foot behind us into a wild thing. Keep your left shoulder over your left wrist. Push your hips to the sky. Slow, flip it around, Vashisthasana on the right. Stagger or stack your feet. It's your right hand down. Left hip a little forward, firm up your legs. Lift your left leg. Crunch your left knee towards your left armpit. Slow as you can, step your left foot forward so you're in a runner's lunge facing the front of your mat with your left foot forward. Shorten your stance, pyramid pose. Block is great, no block is great, whatever works for you. Square off your hips and lengthen your waist. Right hand, mat or block, line your fingers up with your toes, twist to the left. Keep squeezing your legs, pulling your left hip back. Only if it feels okay on your neck, you're looking up. 3, 2, 1. Look down, grab a block if you've got it, bump it forward, revolve, half moon. Keep the twist, flex your right foot, push the ball of your left foot down into the mat. Bend your right knee, optional, reach back for your foot. Full moon pose, also optional, coming up for revolve dancer, right arm reaching forward. You've got opposite grip dancer. Push the ball of your left foot down. 3, 2, 1. Slow, hands to the mat. Drop your right knee behind your left ankle and drop down to your seat. So your left leg's on top. Again, if this is too much, extend your bottom, your right leg forward completely, but keep your left knee over top. Push the ball of your left foot down as you twist to the left. Keep sinking your left hip. 3, 2, 1. Counter stretch to the right, little dip, push, and come back up. Cow face pose, Gomukhasana. Option for the bottom leg straight or bent. Stack your left knee over your right knee. Your toes, they're not flexed, they're not pointing forward. You're trying to kind of wiggle your feet back, and I like to grab the feet. Keep your left sitting bone heavy. Same thing you did with your arms, but opposite. So if you eagle wrapped or bound your hands in any way, do it the opposite way this time. Otherwise, just sit tall, focus on your breath. We have a tendency to round our back here. To push your low back in, sit up tall, relax your shoulders, your jaw. 3, 2, 1. All right. Roll forward onto your knees, hands on the mat. And then I like to tuck the toes here and either step or jump your feet back. But you have to, if you're jumping your feet back, you kind of have to unwind them in the air. So you tuck your toes, push down, unwind, and then jump. It's kind of cool. It's not as hard as it looks probably. It's actually quite simple. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Lift your heels, look forward, step or jump through to a seated position. And let's lay all the way down onto our back. Feel free to grab a block to take with you. We'll be going into just 2 back bends today because we already did quite a bit. So if you feel ready for 2 upward bows, by all means, go for it. I'll lead you through a bridge and an upward facing bow. I do like to mention, if you've never done upward facing bow, I would really recommend doing it in the presence of a teacher in person, just so they can make sure you're doing it correctly to avoid injury. So that's just my heads up, but you can obviously do whatever you would like. Arms by your side, toes point forward, hips tuck, lift your hips up. So you want to keep that tuck of your pelvis. Drive your heels down into the mat and a little forward, like you're trying to push your chest towards the wall or the space behind you for 3, 2, 1. Slow lower, take a breath. For upward facing bow, same setup. Tuck your tuck your tailbone, lift your hips up. And then your hands will be beside your head, thumbs closest to your ears, your fingers pointing towards your shoulders. Hug your elbows in as you push into your hands. You might come to the top of your head first, then push all the way up. It's a lot of flexion on your wrists, so again, just be careful. Maybe add a little grip with the pads of the fingers to alleviate the pressure on your one wrist joint. Try to keep your toes pointing forward. Press your chest towards the wall or the space behind you. Completely relax your neck. Wherever you are, breathe for 3, 2, 1. Chin tuck, slow lower, bring it down. Hug your knees into your chest. Let's go ahead and rock it up to a comfortable seated position. So rock up to a seat, and then let's open up to the long edge of your mat. I'll go to the left side so you can see. You can go either way. Wide legs, we're gonna take a side stretch and a fold. Reach your right hand towards your right foot, left arm up and over. Flex your toes. To modify this, you could bend your left knee and place the bottom of your foot at your inner thigh. Same thing for 3, 2, 1. Come back up, either both legs extended and side bend to the left, or the modified version again is to bend your right knee and place the bottom of your foot at your inner thigh. 3, 2, 1. Lift your torso up, both legs out wide. Too much, bring the bottoms of your feet together. Either way, sit up tall, flat spine, hinge forward. If you're doing Baddha Konasana, that's butterfly or bound angle pose, you can use your elbows to push your knees down. If your legs are out wide, try to flex your feet, avoid the toes flopping in. Squeeze your thigh muscles, pull your lower ribs, squeeze your abdomen in. 3, 2, 1. Walk your hands back towards you. Swing your left leg to meet your right leg and lie down onto your back. Let's take those legs up in a waterfall or shoulder stand pose. Hands to the low back or block to the low back. Walk your elbows in a little bit and look up at your feet. If you're going waterfall pose, your hips are on the mat. You're just extending your legs straight up. Sometimes it's called dead bug pose as well. If you're in shoulder stand, use more of your palms, less of your fingers. That'll feel better on your wrists over time. Take your legs overhead for plow pose if that's part of your practice. I like to untuck the toes. Toes tucked is totally fine. Hands to low back, bound, or grabbing the outer edges of the mat. Try to walk your feet back a little bit more so that if and when you would like to go to ear pressure pose, you have enough space and you don't feel like you're going to roll flat onto your back. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Very, very slowly start to roll your spine down. Extend your legs. Bring your fingers under your butt and take a fish pose. Puff up your chest, drop your head back. Point your toes. Take a breath in. Tongue out. Bring your chin in. Slowly lower yourself down. Hug your knees into your chest. If there's anything, actually let's go ahead and take a twist. So bring your knees together and cactus your arms. Let's take a twist together by dropping the knees to the left and looking to the right. If you prefer to wrap up your legs or just take a single leg twist, that's great too. Allow your breath to slow. become a little bit more natural, softer, less controlled. Let your body feel heavy and supported. Slowly bring your knees back through center. You might bump your hips a little to the left. Let your knees fall to the right and look to the left. Breathing easy, relax your jaw. Feel the ease at which you're breathing in and out, all the space you've created. Gradually bring your knees back through center, hug them into your chest. If there's any final pose or stretch you'd like to take here, now's a wonderful time. If and when you're ready, start to extend your legs, sprawl your arms, give yourself, your body permission to take up space and to relax. Allow the practice to integrate here. Keep your focus on your breath without controlling it. This allows you to stay in the present moment without your mind wandering off in all different directions. If it does start to do that, notice, see maybe where your thoughts are going, and let them go without chasing them. Take a breath in, and exhale, Shavasana. Slowly bring your awareness back within your space. Feel as if your mat is rising up to meet and support you. Notice your next inhale. Notice your body. Maybe wiggle it around. Stretch your arms overhead, lengthen. Draw your knees in and roll to your right or left side. Slowly make your way up to a comfortable seat. Relax your shoulders and bring your hands to your heart. Take a moment of gratitude for yourself, showing up onto your mat. Sometimes that's the hardest part, completing your practice even when things get challenging. And sometimes that most challenging part is the end, Shavasana, being still. And even if you don't feel as if you succeed, that's not really what the practice is about. It's about the effort you put in, trying, being present, sticking with it, and sticking with your breath. Focus less on the results, less on if you were able to quote unquote drop in, less if you were able to do revolve dancer pose or not. More about the things you learn along the way. Sticking with challenging things, staying with your breath, being present. Take a breath in. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you for choosing to practice with me. I so appreciate you visiting my channel. I hope you liked this class, and I hope you check out some of my other classes as well. If you did like it, please hit the thumbs up, share it with your family and friends who you think would like it, and most definitely hit the subscribe button. That's the best way to help support me. If you are interested in any of my other offerings, you can go to my website, which I'll put below. Yeah, and I will also link this beautiful studio called, again, Sweatshop on Central in the caption. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and have a wonderful day.